Skip it up and that up.
It's happening. The Xbox One is becoming the Xbox 720p. I refuse to use it until recently, but more games are becoming sub 1080p for the Xbox One than the PS4. Dead Rising 3, executive producer from Capcom Vancouver, Josh Bridge, confirmed Dead Rising 3 is 720p on the Xbox One, and he explained why. Basically, he said because it's such the feel of the game is really important that it stays at 30 frames per second. If it drops, there'll be input lag. You know, it's all about the responsiveness of the game, and they needed to make sure it stayed at 30 frames a second. And the only way they could do that is if the game was 720p. It's going to be upscaled to 1080p on the Xbox One. Let's think now. Battlefield 4, 720p. Rise, 900p. Dead Rising 3, 720p. If I'm missing something, that's not the point. I mean, those are three big titles right there that are not 1080p on the Xbox One. Now, I know a lot of people get angry at me. Rich, who gives a shit? Who cares what resolution the game is at? I just want to have fun with the game. But what I keep thinking of, okay, and if there's a developer out there that watches this, because I know there's some guys that are, and they PM me because they don't want to seem like know-it-alls in the comment section. They say, hey, Rich, I know this about this, you're wrong about this, you're right about that. What I fear in the future, and I've said this before, now you get to see my sexy face saying it, is what's going to happen when the AI becomes more demanding, when the physics engines become more demanding, when just the graphics engines for these games, the game engines in general, become more demanding. What resolution are the games going to be at? Are they going to have to go sub HD again? Now, I also hear a rumor going around, the reason that Call of Duty Ghosts wasn't able to be in 1080p because Microsoft refused to let Infinity Ward use the 10% of the GPU that the Kinect uses, which I don't know if that's true or not. I didn't report on it. But if that is true, Microsoft, just get rid of that damn thing. If that's what's causing games to not run at 1080p on the Xbox One, no one gives a shit. Look, here's my Italian hand. No one gives a shit about the Kinect. You need to let that thing go. Say goodbye to it. Every single person I talk to is getting an Xbox One. They're excited for it. They keep on saying, I can't wait to get the Xbox One. I'm looking forward to Dead Rising 3. I'm looking forward to Forza. But fuck the Kinect. I just don't know what else. And you keep pushing it on people. I see interviews with all the guys, all the suits from Microsoft and Xbox, and they just keep saying, oh, it's all about Kinect. Developers can use Kinect. No one wants it. And if that's what's hindering the Xbox One for giving full 1080p experiences, that's not good, man. Now, this generation, I expected, okay, and we're getting it more so with the PS4, you know, minus Battlefield as of now. Maybe there's some other titles not coming off the top of my head right now. We're getting a lot more 1080p games, but I expected this entire generation to give us 1080p. Maybe not 60 frames per second. Some people got really elitist and were like, I expect 60 frames per second. It's like, dude, then you want to spend $800, $900 on a console. You know, but I expected at least 1080p, and to see, especially on the Xbox One, more so. I mean, let's say PS4 Battlefield's only not 1600 by 900, but to see all these games being in sub HD, you know, there were 720p games, albeit they were more basic, but there were 720p games on the Xbox 360. You know, I mean, I don't play pixels like you guys say the same thing, Rich. I don't play pixels, I don't play graphics, I just want good games. And obviously, I'm not saying that Dead Rising 3 could have been done on the Xbox 360. I'm not an idiot. You need, you know, the 8-core processor to handle the AI, the multiple zombies on screen. You need that huge amount of RAM to handle the more character animations to, I mean, did you see how many zombies were on the damn screen in some of the gameplay of Dead Rising 3? You couldn't do that on the 360. I'm not saying that. Obviously, they're utilizing the horsepower of the Xbox One. But like I've said in a billion different videos, what's going to happen 3 or 4 years down the road? Now, I see Mark Cerny on the other side, the PS side of things, the PlayStation side of things. That's when he thinks that the PlayStation 4 is going to blossom, and I hope he's right. But if this is a sign of what I'm hoping to see, I hope I'm wrong about everything I say, and I think people don't believe me when I say that, but I hope a year from now, developers utilize that ESRAM, or some people call it SRAM, in the Xbox One, and every damn game is 1080p with no hesitation. But this isn't a good sign, okay? And everyone keeps on saying, oh, Rich, they have to learn the hardware. But 1080p shouldn't be a thing. That's the bottom line. 1080p should be effortless. And it seems not to be on both consoles, especially the Xbox One. And it's not about the graphics. It just, like I've said a billion times before, it concerns me how capable this hardware is going to be a few years down the line. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Make sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for supporting my channel. Have a good one.
Ta-da! Just like that, the audio quality's fixed, so don't worry, my next news story I won't sound like I'm underwater. Problem solved. Relax. Have a good one, guys.